everyone, and welcome to today's video. A few videos ago I shared that I have an autoimmune disease called Graves' disease, which affects my thyroid. So today I kind of wanted to share and talk about my wellness journey over the past year, kind of since I was diagnosed, and kind of tell you what I have been doing, fails and successes. I don't like to say fails, but things that I didn't succeed at doing as much as I would have liked to, things that I was able to stick to, and then maybe touch a little bit on what I am going to try and incorporate in the next few months. When I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, one of the first things that I asked the doctor was whether or not diet would help with my condition, and I was told not. But I wasn't convinced by the answer, given being misdiagnosed so many times previously. I therefore booked an appointment with a nutritionist, and I went through. I mentioned it in that video about Graves' disease, but I went through some tests to test intolerances, and also I did a little bit of the elimination diet, even though I ended up stopping it because I did the elimination diet for months, and it just felt like it was never ending because my nutritionist was waiting for me to get to a point where I was feeling perfect before I could reincorporate food, and that kind of never happened. Part of it could also be the medication that I have to take for the thyroid, which also kind of affect the gut. So there was really no conclusive thing when it comes to the elimination diet. However, the blood test that I did show that I was intolerant to gluten, dairy, and green beans was another one, which it's kind of weird, but I had noticed before that green beans would make me feel not really good after having them. So I always thought that it was probably something else that was not the green beans, because how would green beans upset my stomach? And yet clearly there was something. So I've cut gluten for the most part. I cut gluten for a full year, and dairy for, I want to say, a good 8 months. Mainly because I had been noticing that it was helping. So those are the big diet changes that I did. Oh, also, but that I already knew because I knew from experience. The other two things that I'm intolerant, that I have an intolerance with, is garlic and onion. And those are almost harder to deal with than gluten or dairy. It's very easy to go to a restaurant, to a supermarket, and find things that are gluten-free and dairy-free. Things that are garlic-free and onion-free, forget about it. The only way that you can find food that doesn't have those two things is if you cook it yourself. So thankfully I'm not allergic, so it's not something where I'm gonna have to go to the hospital if I have it. But particularly with garlic, if I have a little bit, I will be feeling really bad within an hour or two. So I try to stay away. Obviously, if it's a very, very small amount, I will usually be okay. Not great, but okay. So I've cut a lot of things out of my diet. I did start making exceptions and having gluten again a few months ago, and I noticed that my thyroid went back up, so I have completely cut gluten again, and I am slowly working my way to completely cutting dairy, and that's not easy when you're French and you grew up with cheese, but I know it's better for me. I just need to actually get there. The biggest challenge with the diet thing is meal prep. I'm not a good cook, and I don't particularly like cooking, but I know that the only way I can really, eat things that are good for me is going to be to do that. So I have slowly been getting better at it, but I still don't do a full week of meal prep by any means. I might do maybe a couple of days of the week where I have food, prep for it, but yeah, I definitely have a lot of improvement to make in that field. The other changes that I've done to my lifestyle is fitness related. I started Pilates a little over a year ago, and that is the one thing that I really stuck with. I go to Pilates at least once a week. There was a time where I would go twice a week, but it got very expensive, so I had to cut back to once a week. The only exceptions is, if I'm sick, mainly because I don't want to get anybody else sick. If I have injured myself in some way, which thankfully doesn't happen too often. And then if I'm on vacation, obviously, and I'm not here, I can't go. But most weeks I go to Pilates, and I go at least once a week. Pilates has been one of the greatest things I could have tried. It has helped me tremendously, and I actually think I will do a video solely on my experience with Pilates and what I have learned after doing it for a year consistently. The things that I need to incorporate in my fitness routine, because Pilates, even though it's great and I would honestly recommend it to anybody, Pilates, you don't really do cardio, and I miss doing cardio. I also think it's important to have some cardio as part of your fitness routine. And then I am a very stiff person, and even though I have been doing Pilates consistently, it has unfortunately not really helped with my flexibility. So that's something that I need to improve, because I can tell that, part of the reason why I have back pain regularly is because of how stiff my muscles are. So I am thinking about trying yoga. We'll see. I'll try it. We'll see if it works or not, or if it's something that I can see myself doing. But I'm kind of hoping that maybe by adding cardio and some sort of exercises to improve my flexibility, that it would help my overall health. So this is where I'm at right now with my wellness journey. It's nothing very fancy, and I'm honestly trying to stick to baby steps, because I've noticed that if I try to make too many changes at once, I just don't do anything. I don't hold myself accountable. So yeah, if you have any advice about, any of the things that I just talked about, let me know in the comments below, or let me know about your, wellness journey and where you're at. I would love to, start a conversation and share that with each other. Thank you so much for watching. Don't hesitate to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!